The talking heads once said, you might find yourself in a house.
You may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife.
Listen, I want to do something a little bit different. No green screen, just me and you chatting it up, shooting the shit. So I wanted to talk about McMansions for a little bit because I think they're an interesting concept. Now, McMansions as a term, or like a colloquialism in popular culture, was first coined by Kate Wagner back in around 2008 when she began the blog McMansion Hell. Now, McMansions are a very interesting concept within pop culture, and there's something that really are unique to the American pop culture zeitgeist, mainly because of the way we build houses and the abundance of land we have in the United States. Now, what makes a McMansion different from like a regular house or mansion? That's mainly due to the architectural features and how well it follows like the traditional rules of architecture, which are balance, proportion, theme, for lack of a better term, and consistency based on region. So for example, a house becomes a McMansion when it has like a southwestern style roof, even though it's in like Chicago, because there is a cultural reason and significance for a southwestern style roof. McMansions are usually 3,000 square foot or more in their size, and McMansions are characterized by this kind of grandeur to them, as opposed to a regular house or mansion, which are both scaled down within their own proportions. So a mansion is different than a McMansion because it doesn't have a lot of negative, wasted, or so to speak, frivolous space. And that's what characterizes McMansions from mansions. McMansions have a lot of space that are used in a way, give the idea of status, give the idea of like grandeur, rather than traditional mansions, which are more focused on actual function. That's a lot of words. Pretty much what I'm saying is that McMansions exist as a weird amalgamation of various architectural features in a sense or in a way that's pretentious, for lack of a better word, in the traditional sense of the word, meaning that it's trying to be something it's not. What makes McMansions really unique is their cheapness and how they're built, but that's also partially due to the way that we build architecture in America in general. All houses are built very cheap, and that's mainly due to balloon framing, platform framing, which is a hollow like wood frame, which is then covered up with drywall, essentially. Compare this to traditional stonemasonry, which is more popular in Europe because there are different laws on the amount of like wood you can use, stone, etc. But the biggest issue with McMansions as a whole, overall culturally, is that they are, for the most part, the only thing that's available on the market, point blank, period. Mainly because the way the housing market has gone, but also because the profit margins are so large on them. So when these developers go to build houses, they don't really go and build like $100,000 starter homes anymore. They build these grand, opulent castles that are kind of testaments to arrogance and wealth, and just are conspicuous consumption, for lack of a better term. And they're built in a way that is both as cheap as possible, but as grand as possible, which is what makes McMansions very unique and why they're so hated, because I feel like a lot of people can kind of see through the bullshit, aka, why is there a turret here? We're not going to war. And it's these weird architectural features taken from actual buildings that once served a purpose and a function that characterize McMansions as opposed to traditional houses. Now, housing is very interesting when you compare like a traditional like craftsman style home, Victorian or ranch style home, to a McMansion. They are products of their time, just like the McMansion is a product of its time. But McMansions are very much the only thing that are on the market for most of America, especially in the Rust and Sun Belt, where a lot of McMansions are built. So that's going to be around from like Florida to California, and that everything in between all the way up to like Atlanta. Now, the unfortunate downside to McMansions in general is not their economic, the environment, their environmental impact. I grew up in real life King of the Hill, which is somewhere in Texas. What's really unique about that is that there's an abundance of land there, as opposed to somewhere in the northern United States where there's not as much land. So McMansions have this kind of gradual creep and slope where people want new homes, people want to design their home, but they also want 2 acres of land. So what ends up happening is that you have like the city center, and then when McMansions begin to come in, they grow out and out and like out and out, and it just grows farther and farther away, and this creates sprawl. And sprawl is one of the biggest reasons to pollution because of commuting, because like America doesn't have big like public transit culture. So because everybody's always commuting, this causes more what do you call it? Greenhouse gases and shit. You know what I'm trying to say. So McMansions, on top of the fact that McMansions require a lot of upkeep and maintenance as far as lawns and all of that, this is a lot of water that is drawn out from the environment, and then just, gas from the lawnmower. And these McMansions in this form of building is one of the biggest factors to environmental changes across the country as well as across the globe. And this is also partially due to like things like zoning laws. You can't build brownstones anymore, for example, because there are certain zoning laws in place, setback laws, meaning that the facade of the house has to be a certain point back on the lot, and also like minimum lot size laws, etc., which is what causes McMansions. These are all various factors that have funneled in and influenced the greater housing crisis that we are in America. Now, McMansions are really interesting because you can roast them, you can talk about them all day, because it comes from a point of like actual sincere interest and appreciation in architecture, but it's the execution in them that is where they fall flat, and they end up just feeling like a hodgepodge and kind of just a bunch of thrown together expensive ideas. It's almost as if you were to tell a kid to like draw a sports car, right? The child wouldn't understand the functions of like various parts of the car, so they just put things together that they've seen before, and that's why people dislike McMansions. But it's also partially just a general frustration, with the housing market as well as the cultural zeitgeist, and how McMansions and the culture of McMansions and McMansion interior design, quote unquote, have been pushed onto us through like HGTV, etc., etc. Anyways, let's make fun of some houses. Look at this turret here. Why is there a turret? We're not going to war. We don't need any fucking turrets. And then look at this. Why is there a balcony overlooking nothing? Why is there a balcony inside the house? Why is there a mezzanine inside the house? Are you really having those kinds of parties? I'm literally editing this video holding a ring light. Anyways, look at these ugly ass cabinetry. What the hell? What in King Tut's? What in the fucking Cheesecake Factory are they doing with this dining room right here? Yes, I'm gonna talk more shit because there was more shit to be talked. then pause. Let's look at this fireplace. Why is there a fireplace in Texas? I understand it gets cold in Texas. I grew up with a fireplace. But 3 of them? And why are you looking at nothing? Fireplace, just looking at the cabinet. Like, come on. Bad design. And then here you have the worst fucking stain of wood you've ever seen in your life. This is the worst stain. It's like 2000s beige if it was a wood stain, and then you have this weird burnt chisel that it's disgusting. Now I know I called them cabinets earlier, but I was talking about them columns. And now this house has more columns than motherfucking ancient Greece itself. And I'm still on this house's head for real. Cause if you look down at this motherfucking Pizza Hut flooring Tuscan tile with these ugly ass cabinetries, it doesn't track. This makes 0 sense. And then we have this bathroom. What? I hate this bathroom. It is literally the size of a high school theater dressing room. Why? Ain't nobody need all that bathroom. And then here we go with these leprosy walls. Here we go. Why? You see, now this bullshit right here is exactly what I was talking about when I was saying negative and wasted space. Ain't nobody need all this space in a bedroom for. You out here taking a whole 40-mile trek, a whole like 8K marathon just to take a piss. What the hell you need all this empty space in a bedroom for? Why? And then on top of that, you look up top, you got a whole tier wedding cake. For why? For what? I understand recessed or coffered ceilings. I don't know the exact term. I understand the visual standpoint, but this shit just looks dumb. And then it just messes up the house's entire roof line. I really want to know why they have 2 bars in this empty ass room. This is a liminal space. I'm not lying. They want to be Jay Gatsby so fucking bad. For what? For why? I don't know what kind of parties you are hosting that you have just this many people standing around an empty room for. And you got all this recessed lighting up top. Shit looks like a Big Lots. Anyways, I could keep going, but I just wanted to do something different. A little bit shorter, a little Cody Ko type beat. Different from my green screen type videos. Thank you so much for stopping by. Taking time out of your day to spend time with me. I'm greatly appreciative. Yeah. Hope you guys have a happy holidays. Hope you guys have a safe holidays. Thank you to all the wonderful people who are subscribed to me. Thank you to all the wonderful people who have subscribed to me in the past year, as well as on Patreon, all the people who helped me. Thank you guys so much. Hope you guys have a wonderful new year. Bye. I'm probably going to go play some Grand Theft Horse.